Hey guys, it's Tom from Liquidation Motivation and welcome to my channel. Welcome to the video today. I got a lot of things on my chest that I need to get off and help you guys out, explain to you guys. No matter how long you've been in this business, you will still get screwed.
One of a kind, I'm like a rare breed, a breath of fresh air, you can see me. People stand up just to greet me. Role model, kids wanna be me.
Here, let me show you these pallets, guys. These are electronic scrap pallets, guys, e-waste pallets. I always tell everybody to always look for e-scrap recyclers, man. And you can see like, this is a high piece count pallet. Everything's got electronic callus removers. There's gonna be Bluetooth headphones in here, LED light for a car. What are these? I think these are the door LED lights. Hey, look at that, Tesla Cybertruck. But you can see these pallets are high piece count. And they're normally, a lot of them come a lot neater and cleaner than this one. Let's find a nice, neat one. Like, let's look over here. What do we got here? So we got LED spotlights, pool lights, you know. Oh, look at this. This is probably 40, 50 bucks. This is a wireless inflatable pump for tires. Guys, these are e-scrap recycler loads. If you can get a hold of some e-scrap loads, they are incredible to use for your bin store, we put a lot of this on Whatnot. You know, our average cost per unit might be $2 or $3, and on Whatnot, we're getting an average of about $7 a piece out of them. You know, that means when you start cranking out the volume, guys, when you do high-speed auctions, fast auctions, you can do a lot of money in sales on Whatnot, you know. We are about 5 months in our journey on Whatnot, and we're over 10,000 followers now. You know, we're just starting to see our prices go up because remember, when you're doing Whatnot, it takes time to get to be profitable. It takes time to make money on it. And you know, we've done the 5-month investment to where we're finally, you know, hopefully gonna make a little bit more money. But you know, once you get to 50,000 subs, 50,000 followers, you are cranking it out. There are some people that are killing it on Whatnot right now, killing it. I mean, they take, you know, where I might get, you know, we got this wireless inflatable pump, I might get, you know, 15 bucks on Whatnot for this item. Other people are getting, you know, if it's a $40 retail, they're getting 30 bucks for it. But they're having 200 people in their auctions, 300 people in their auctions. I'm still going around 60 right now is what we're up to. But if you're willing to put in the time, there's a ton of money to be made. And never forget about recyclers, guys. I buy a lot of recycling loads from all over the country, and it's good, quality, clean, profitable product. I've had some frustrations this week. I've talked about this a lot on my channel, but I need to finally just say it. Don't trust anybody in this business. Don't trust anybody in this business. Verify. Verify every load that you're gonna get. I just bought a $27,000 coffin box load, and it came in like crap. Like crap. And I've split the load with another person, with Ben down at Super Bins, and I'm very upset about how it came in. So this load came from a very reputable dealer. Everybody knows this person in the industry. But my problem is they didn't tell me what the load was. They're saying, yeah, we got coffin boxes for you. We'll sell you coffin boxes. I'm like, good, I'll take the coffin boxes. Had them shipped to me. When I get them, they're obviously processed loads. They're not in Amazon boxes. They're in brown boxes. Don't buy brown boxes. If you don't see the Amazon logo on the box, be careful, guys. Be freaking careful. I mean, I'm out $27,000. And what do you think they're gonna do for me? I open up the box, it's filled with LPN, with all the LPN labels cut off, and FC in there. That's not what I ordered. And it's processed. So what, everything high value is taken out? I get screwed, my partner gets screwed, everybody gets screwed in this business except for the person selling the damn order. Another deal, guy in Orlando comes to me, and I'm consulting him, I'm teaching him about the bin store business. He buys a load. Remember the loads I told you not to buy from New York City? He bought one of those loads. And then I got upset when they were horrible. I'm like, guys, if you're gonna buy a load, text me, run it by me. Say, hey, I'm buying this load, what do you think? Run it by me, verify it, get pictures of the load. Get pictures of the load. Do not buy a load without pictures, because everybody is out there to screw everybody. Everybody is processing pallets out there. Everybody is pulling the good stuff out and selling you the crap. You know, and smaller people can only do that one time before they're out of money. before they're out of money. It's ridiculous what's happening in this industry, and there needs to be integrity in this industry. There needs to be like a ranking system where every seller has a rank, right? Every seller goes off 5-star ranking, right? You know, so that you can go look up this person. There's a place you can look them up and you can see how good that seller is. And there needs to be reviews. Somebody needs to create that and make that happen. It's ridiculous how much processed stuff is being shipped around here without being told. And listen, if somebody says, oh no, we just removed the food, don't believe that shit either. Because they don't, you're telling me they're gonna go through a pallet and they see a laptop or an iPad or a $200 watch, they're not gonna remove that too? If they're touching the load, they're removing all the good stuff. Only buy loads that aren't touched, guys. Stop buying this processed. Now, I'm not saying there's no room for processed. Let me make that clear. Processed loads should be half the price of regular loads, all the value's taken out of it. They should be cheaper so bin stores can make money off the processed loads. Yes, that is true. But when loads are being sold and the person is not telling you the truth, their integrity is shit. Their integrity is through the floor, guys, through the floor. And that happens every day in this business. I don't know how many times I get complaints from people texting me and saying that they got screwed by this vendor or that vendor or this vendor. It's ridiculous and it needs to stop. It needs to stop. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little worked up because, you know, I got burnt. I mean, I got burnt for half a load, Ben for the other half of the load, and we got burnt and we know better. We've been in this business for so long. I feel like I'm an idiot for not doing the research, guys. Get pictures of the load. Every load that you buy, get pictures of the load. Oh, have them open up the boxes, have them open up, see what's inside of it. You got to do that or you're going to go out of business or you're just going to make bad decisions like I did again. It seems like once a year we do a video where I talk about how I got screwed. And so now the guy who's supposed to teach people about liquidation is now the guy getting burnt in liquidation. You know, how does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? So be careful, guys, be careful. That's gonna end this segment, but I just had to go on that little rant because I got fried this week on a load and now I'm hoping that this person takes responsibility for it. So, you know, if not, I'm gonna have to out her. I'm gonna have to out her. If not, what? I mean, that's my job, right? To tell people where not to buy loads from. If they're selling this load on the market, I think I paid like $115 for coffin boxes shipped. And I expected fresh, sealed Amazon boxes. I didn't get that. I got crap. I have a couple pictures maybe I can put in here, Paul, that we can show people what it looked like. It looked like garbage, man. It looked like garbage. And I'm a little upset about it.
Have you ever done business with her before?
I've never done business with her before. I bought it from a middleman. I trusted the middleman. The middleman brokered it, got a few hundred, you know, he claims he only made a few $100. I don't know the deal. I don't know the truth, but, and then I get the load and it was horrible. It was horrible. One of the worst loads I ever got in my life. So that's it on this segment. I want to be positive from now on. So I went into a thrift store this weekend and found an iPhone 1 with the box. I was so super excited, right? There's actually another phone inside there. So there's 2 iPhone 1s with the box. When I look it up, some of them sell for like $1,000 with the box, right? So I'm like, holy crap, it was $15 at the store. So I put it in the museum, it's there ready to go. I'm definitely gonna have like the history of phones, a section of the history of phones. But like my story is I bought the iPhone 1 the first day it came out, right? Back in the, I don't even know, early 2000s, sometimes in the 2000s. So I bought one the first day it came out. And I was so excited. I was at a conference, I'm texting people, you know, that was the first time I saw like visual voicemail and everything like that. That was so cool. And so that night I take my wife and kids, I'm like, look at my phone, guys. Look how cool my phone is, right? And we're in line at Friendly's getting some ice cream, right? I feel like Eddie Murphy at this point, right? Because I'm sitting there talking, right? Talking on my phone, texting on my phone, and all of a sudden I'm like, I dropped my phone. I'm like, no big deal, right? I dropped my Samsung phone 1,000 times, right? So I pick up the phone and the screen is shattered. The first day they came out, I shattered my screen. And I tried to play with it to see if it still worked, and it still worked, but I cut my finger because the glass was so sharp in the shatter. The very next day, I went back to Verizon and I got an Android phone, and I said I would never effing use an iPhone in my life. And so now today, Paul like gives me a hard time that I don't use iPhones. My whole family has iPhones. I only use Android because of that night getting ice cream. The screen shattered. First day the phone came out. Okay, so I want to open another super bin store, a big bin store with 150 bins. So I'm currently manufacturing bins, and I'm trying to manufacture them and be able to sell them to the public. You know, I'm trying to figure out what the best way to make the bins, you know, how you guys can follow my bin store model, open up your own bin stores, and we can help you supply everything you got. So what I'm asking for is I'm asking for everybody to give me their recommendations if we should do anything different here. One thing that we did here on the leg, if you can see on the leg, actually look on the top here, Paul. So we have these lag bolts that are going down into the wood, and then we have the nuts down here. So we made these bins so that they're easy to transport. You can take these nuts off, pull the leg out, and then just set it inside the bin for transport. Because if anybody tried to ship bins before, it's hard to put a lot of bins in a tractor trailer because you have to spoon them and stack them, and there's just too much negative space. So in this case, we think we only have to stack them this tall, you know, this tall, up as high as we can in the truckload, and then we can get two side by side, and we figured out we can get about 150 per truckload, and that's our goal. Because I think if you're gonna do a big bin store, you wanna have 150 bins, and that's where you're gonna be successful. So this bin is put together. Another thing I'm gonna preach in the future is that you get rid of all your trash, right? You get rid of the bin store leftovers. You don't sell it, you don't do anything with it, you move on from it. You know, we analyzed one of our stores and we're doing like $100 in sales a week from bin store stuff leftovers. Is that worth it? You got a business that's making $100,000 a week. You know, why waste your time on $100? So we made the end of these end of the bins where they can fold down. So they're easy. This is gonna be easy to sweep out and clean out, right? We're still trying to figure out, we got them on hinges right now, but we're still trying to figure out if it should be piano hinges or what it should be. And then we're gonna have a locking mechanism here. When it's up, it just locks into place and doesn't come down. So you can just unlock it, open it up, sweep it out into the trash and get rid of it. Or you palletize it up, sell the pallet, or just, you know, my pallets of bin store leftovers are just piling up. That's why I offered to give it to anybody for free. I had a few takers. I have a few people coming in picking them up. I just don't want to deal with the trash because there's too much value in the good stuff. Listen, there's too much value, and I do a 50-cent day, guys. So if it doesn't sell on 50-cent day, it's not going to sell any time else. I believe that all the value has been taken out of the bins, and what's left over is just minuscule value. So move on from that. Focus on your big days, right? In a big bin store, you're gonna do 50 grand on your first day. You know, you're gonna crush it, you're gonna kill it, you're gonna make a ton of money. Why focus on $100 worth of product? So the legs come off, can go inside for easy shipping. The end folds down. We sanded all the tops, right? So all these tops, so you're not gonna get any splinters from that. We are gonna seal. We're gonna use wood putty to clean up all the little dings and dents. And then we're gonna paint it, and then we're gonna clear coat it so that the paint won't chip off. Paint it and clear coat it, and then every corner is gonna be protected, you know, with a metal rail, because you hit a lot of corners with these bins when you're moving them around. So that's what we're doing to our bins. You certainly can make them yourself. We use 3/4 inch plywood, 4x4s for the legs. I'm hoping that these are sturdy enough that we won't have to worry about the legs. A lot of people put angle braces on it, but our whole goal is that we build these pop-up bin stores, and then if we have to move in 6 months, boom, take the legs off, put them inside, put them on a pallet, put them in a tractor trailer, we move to the next location, put them right back up. We want to make them transportable. So portable as far as having wheels and everything, but transportable, meaning you can move it to your next location. So people throughout my YouTube career have called me up and said, hey Tom, can you make me bins? You know, because they just don't want to do the process of building them. And so we're trying to figure out how to manufacture the perfect bin. Once again, if you guys got an idea how we can make this better, I mean, I'm happy to listen to that. I think that we thought about most everything, and I'm hoping these legs are strong enough. I think they will be. He says tomorrow we're gonna give it a test run. We're gonna run it over a whole bunch of carpet to tile, and see if they're gonna last, and they should, because they're not only bolted, but they're glued. I mean, this prototype costs us a few $100s to build, but I think when we negotiate the wood prices and everything, you know, we might be able to build these for like $150. You know, this is, so it's also gonna get painted, guys. We're gonna paint it, we're gonna paint ours green, light green, you know, and then we're gonna clear coat it. So the paint's gonna be extra strong on there. So they're not gonna scratch up as much as a bin that's not clear coated. So painted, clear coated. We're hoping our cost into this is gonna be, once we negotiate the wood prices with everybody, about $150. And then we can try to sell them off to other bin stores for, let's say, $200 and make a little money on manufacturing bins. So we're gonna build a little station in this warehouse where we're manufacturing bins for other bin stores, but we're also at the same time trying to find and build pop-up bin stores in any major city that we can find. I bought these super cool luggage, kids luggage carry-ons, right? This is Batman, but we also got Spider-Man and, you know, Cars, Transformers. You know, the thing is that I bought them wholesale and I paid $45 a piece for them. And, you know, when you look them up, they're like over $100 retail. And I'm thinking, oh, I'll just put them out, maybe just make a little bit of money because it's cool inventory. I don't mind paying more money for something that's cool inventory and you know is gonna sell out fast. But the truth is, I hate wholesale. I don't make any money on wholesale, right? That's why we're liquidators, guys. We buy liquidated products, guys. We buy stuff at 10, 12, 15% of market value, and then we try to flip it and make a little money on it. So, you know, these are cool. I put one on Whatnot yesterday to say, hey, maybe I can just make money on Whatnot. It did frickin' $18. So I lost money on the first one. I sold one and I said, no, that's it. I'm not selling any more on Whatnot. I'll put them in my showroom for maybe 50, 60 bucks. See if I can blow them out. But they're super cool little suitcases, and I can see. Can't you see a little 4-year-old walking through the airport with one of these? This is awesome, right? It's got the nice rotating wheels and everything, but who knows? Who knows? Might have been a bad decision, but I only bought like 6 of them, so. But they have another 300, 400 of them. I really don't want to buy the 400 unless I really have to. I think it might be that time of year that I can start breaking out the Halloween stuff, right? I save the seasonal stuff all year long so that I can sell it when the season comes in. So we have all of these pallets here filled with Halloween stuff. We're gonna start putting them on our Whatnot, start selling them, you know, any way that we can. I don't really sell these by the pallet because I just hoard them all year long. You should see my Christmas section. My Christmas section is filled. There's probably 100 pallets over there. So I'm super excited for the season to be coming up. LED decorative lights. You know, I do have a lady that has a truckload of these that wants to sell the whole truckload at $300 a pallet coming out of Florida. So if anybody's interested in that load, I could hook them up with that. But these are nice. These are nice, and they're definitely gonna make me a lot of money here in a few weeks. You know, we're gonna start running them and we're gonna start flipping them. All right, guys, if you're gonna run a liquidation warehouse, you have to beware of the fire inspector. You know, I ran one warehouse, I never saw a fire inspector in my, you know, the whole 5 years I was there. Now I get them all the time because I'm in a big facility in a mall. And you know, this is the problem that they have. You can see that we just have pallets stacked up side by side. This is all the bin store leftover stuff that I'm giving away. And their problem is if a fire started way back in the corner, they couldn't get to it. So they're requiring us to make nice, neat rows. You can see like what we did here. We have just rows of merchandise here. You know, rows and rows and rows of merchandise so that they can get down through the rows. Now, you don't want to mess around with the fire inspector. You know, you got to get your extinguishers certified every year. You know, they have a problem with, you can see our ceiling, you know, we got this location has a lot of ceiling tiles out, so they want me to replace every one of these ceiling tiles. And there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds out. I'm hoping the mall is going to step up and do it. I don't know if they will, but they're requiring that they all get replaced. I still have probably 30,000 square feet that I need to organize and clean up, but they're happy with my progress. I wasn't sure if they're gonna let me do my auction this weekend. They did give me permission to do it. They gave me a 30-day extension to get everything organized and cleaned up, which I'm happy for. But you know what? The warehouse needed to be cleaned up anyways. So I'm glad that they lit a fire underneath my ass. We're going through everything in the whole warehouse, getting it organized. I would recommend, like, the problem with having so much space is like I take on loads from people. Like they say, hey, I can't move this load. Will you take it and try to sell it? And I'm like, yeah, ship it to me. And then I end up with 20 loads of stuff that doesn't sell very well. Like for example, over here, Paul, I have a whole load of this chemicals, the cleaning chemicals, you know. You know, that's tough stuff to sell. That's tough stuff to sell. So, you know, now it's been sitting in my warehouse for 6-8 months now, taking up space, where I just need to be more deliberate about loads that I take in. If it's not a load that's gonna move, I don't wanna buy it, I don't wanna bring it in, I don't wanna take up space that I can be using as a sales floor, as a functional facility. I finally got 7 of my showcases filled to the top, you know, filled as full as I can get them. We got some cool collections, the wrestlers, you know, the vintage video game systems. You can see we're getting this pretty full, but you know, this one section will end up being 10 or 20 showcases after I collect all the systems. I'm trying to find everything in a box, and then once I buy it, you know, if I find a better box, I'll go ahead and buy that one and then sell this one off, probably put it in my bin store for sale. But these 7 are done. Now I'm working on the other side. You can see the other 7 I'm working on. And then I got super lucky and found somebody selling 9 more. So inside there, you can see the round showcases and then 9 more display cases in there, and it's super cool. I just, you know, I've been collecting all my life. I've been buying and selling collectibles my whole life in the resale and liquidation business. So this is just a fun hobby for me to have. Looks like they're looking to leave. They're shutting my lights off. But you can see some cool, look at this here. This is a Disneyland record player from, I believe it's from the 50s here. That's super cool, an iPhone 1 we just talked about. This is an original Simon from 1984. You remember, here's the original Battleship. That's right, the original Battleship. I never put the pegs in there for the people who hit the ship, but an old Chia Pet. You know, this is not a super high-end collectible museum. It's just pop culture. It's like everything that people use, everything that people remember as a kid. So it doesn't have to be super high value. It just has to be super cool. You know, I think this Labubu, everybody's talking about these Labubus. I don't know anything about that, but I got about 100 people saying they want that Labubu. But everything in my display cases aren't for sale. We got to put lights in this one. But see, I'm trying to do a little bit more with girl stuff over here, Barbie stuff. I got Barbie, I got Three Stooges up there. An original, that Domino's was from 1982, I think. Trivia Adventure Plus. This was before the Trivia Pursuit. Guys, that was from 85. You know, I'm trying to do like the history of board games, the history of toys, and then I'll do the history of pop culture, the history of everything. I'll have sporting goods, furniture, electronics, all that kind of stuff, just showing you the history of that kind of stuff. So the museum is moving right along. Remember, I got a 4-year goal to have the world's largest pop culture museum. I'm trying to buy it. So guys, you got anything out there that you think I might want, hit me up with a price. I'd be happy to buy it off you. If it fits in my museum, that's what I'm doing for my hobby, right? Everybody needs a hobby. You guys got a hobby? This is my new hobby. I want to bring joy to families, and I might have already said this, but it's a registered 501c3, so we are a registered nonprofit. And no, we don't try to get loads with that nonprofit. We are just focused on building the museum and making this a great attraction, you know, in Orlando for families to see. When they go to Disneyland, they're always looking for something to do at night. They can come over to our museum and check us out. You can go to therarestDAO.com is actually our website, the rarest DAO, D-A-O. And so that's where it's kind of a crypto crowdfunding sourcing project that helps buy the rarest of the rarest assets to keep the rarest assets out of the hands of the rich so it can be shared with the public. And we want to bring those rare assets to our museum so that, you know, when a rich guy buys, you know, a graded 10 Wayne Gretzky hockey card that sold for $3.2 million, and then he throws it in his desk, that's an injustice to the people, right? The people need to see those kind of things. And that's what this museum is for. So we can bring these rarest assets to people, to the people. So you get to feel them. I don't know about touch them, but you get to see them. You get to experience them, and you get to say, hey, I saw the first ever Barbie created, or, you know, or the Dorothy's Ruby Red Slippers, or the DeLorean, right? I think there's like 9 DeLoreans out there. We have to try to go buy one of those. 9 that were used in the movies, so that would be super cool to get. But yeah, we're building it, and we're getting there. Hey guys, thanks for watching my video today. Guys, if you have any questions, remember, the most important part, if you're gonna buy a load, text me and say, hey, do you know anything about this load? Is it a legit load? Should I buy it? Am I being scammed? Please text me, 315-778-8744, Liquidation Motivation. Thank you guys. Now go out there and make some money.